Hello my dear juniors, I am Shubhra Bhattacharya from Medical College Kolkata, third year part 1 and welcome you in Make Medical Easy. And today's topic of discussion is WBUH's 10 years important topics of first professional MBBS exam, and I want to take the first the upper limb. Okay, so in this section I will explain the brachial plexus and the 3 nerves of our upper limb and along with the pictures. So let's start with me, and if you are first in on my channel, please go to the description and join my WhatsApp group and download the PDF and go through it. Okay, so let's start with the brachial plexus. Firstly, I want to say go in the description and click the which part you need and then start the video. So start with the brachial plexus. We all know brachial plexus have 4 division like root, trunk, division and chords. So start with roots. Okay, so there are 5 roots mainly like C5, C6, C7, C8, T1. Sometimes T2 is also involved, and from the C5 and C6 these 2 roots combined and from the upper trunk. Okay, then C7 from the middle trunk, C8 and T1 from the lower trunk. Okay, after the trunk there is a division when the upper trunk and the lower trunk give a branch to the middle trunk. Okay, so upper trunk and lower trunk give a one branch to the middle, and the middle trunk give a division to the upper segment or the upper trunk. Okay, so there is the division branch. And coming to the chords, this is the axillary artery, the anatomical position, the axillary artery, the medial to the axillary artery, the cord is called medial cord, the posterior is called posterior cord, and lateral is called lateral cord. It's very easy. And roots, trunks and the cords have branches, but the division segment have no branches. Okay, again C5, C6, C7, C8, T1, there are the roots coming upper trunk, lower trunk, middle trunk. Upper trunk gives and lower trunk gives one branch to the middle trunk, and from the middle division the middle trunk gives one branch to the upper, not lower, and from the lateral cord. Okay, so now coming to the branches. First of all, see, there is a branch from the C1 in the root region, and in the root region C5, C6 and C7 give a second branch. Okay, coming to the trunk part, from the upper trunk 3 and 4 there are two branches are given. Okay, now I am discussing them. Firstly, the one is called dorsal scapular nerve. Okay, and the dorsal scapular nerve mainly supply the levator scapulae, rhomboidal minor and major, these 3 muscles. Coming to the 2, which is arises from C5, C6, C7, there is a long thoracic nerve which gives a branch to the serratus anterior muscle, which is present over there. Okay, now coming to the next page. What is the 3 and 4? 3 is the suprascapular nerve which supplies the supraspinatus and infraspinatus muscles. What is about the supraspinatus muscles? Its help in case of shoulder abduction 0 to 15 degree. If there is any problem to the suprascapular nerve, then there is a problem in the initiation of the abduction of the shoulder. Okay, after the initiation they can easily the subject can passively move their shoulder, but there is a problem in the initiation phase. Coming to the 4th nerve, which present in the upper trunk, there is the nerve to the subclavius. Subclavius muscle is get innervated by this muscle, and accessory phrenic nerve is also come from the nerve to subclavius and attached to the phrenic nerve. Okay, so this is about the branches without the cord branches. Now coming to the cords. Firstly, the lateral cord. Okay, so there is a mnemonic LML. Okay, so lateral root of median nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, and lateral pectoral nerve. There are three branches. Musculocutaneous nerve mainly supplies the bicep, brachioradialis, and coracobrachialis. Okay, and then this continues as a lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. This is about the lateral cord. Coming to the posterior cord, there is a mnemonic ulnar, ULNAR, U for upper and L for lower subscapular nerve. So they both are supply the subscapularis muscle, and the lower subscapularis muscle nerve also innervate the teres major muscle. Okay, teres major muscle. Coming to the N for nerve to latissimus dorsi. The nerve is called thoracodorsal nerve. A for axillary nerve, which supplies the deltoid and serratus anterior muscle, and R for radial nerve. Remember, the mnemonic is ulnar, but the ulnar nerve is not developed from the posterior cord. Coming to the medial cord, and the mnemonic is M for U. I am for you, so M for U. So 4M and 1U. M for medial root of median nerve. There is the lateral root of median nerve, and there is the medial root of median nerve. Coming to the medial pectoral nerve, then medial cutaneous nerve of arm and medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, where the musculocutaneous nerve serve as a lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm, and there is the another median cutaneous nerve of forearm, and U for ulnar nerve. So there is all about the brachial plexus. Now coming to the injuries. Okay, before going to the injuries, I want to discuss two injuries. Okay, one injury which affect the upper trunk and which affect the lower trunk. The upper trunk injury mainly root are C5, C6, and lower trunk injury is C8, T1. Okay, so let's start. Okay, before going to the injury part, coming to the image, and please note it down. Coming to the 1, you all know what is the 1? 1 is the root. Okay, coming to the 2, what is about 2? 2 is the trunk. Okay, 6, what is 6 is showing here. You can clearly notice one from the upper and one from the lower coming inside and coming with the median, and the median give the middle give a branch to the upper. So this is the division, and coming to the last, this is the cords. Okay, the 7 are the cords. Now coming to the, what is this? This is the superior trunk. This is the superior trunk. What is this? This is the middle trunk. What is this? This is the inferior trunk. Okay, now coming to the this part. What is this nerve? You know that this is the mainly lateral pectoral nerve. This is the lateral pectoral nerve. Okay, what is this? You know, the lateral cord. It's very easy. This is the lateral cord. So this is the posterior cord, and this is the medial cord. Okay, so this is the lateral pectoral nerve. Okay, now coming to the, this is the posterior cord, is very easy. Coming to these 3, 1, 2 and 3. What is the 3? This is the upper, middle and lower subscapularis nerve. Upper, middle and lower subscapularis nerve. Okay, this is the medial cord. What is this branch? You know, this is about, I am talking about the medial pectoral nerve. This is the medial pectoral nerve. Okay, what is this nerve? This nerve is actually the medial brachial cutaneous nerve. This is medial brachial cutaneous nerve. What is this nerve? This nerve is especially the terminal branches. Sorry, this is the medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. This is the medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. Okay, coming to the, what is this nerve? This is mainly the ulnar nerve. Okay, what is this nerve? One from lower and one from upper. This is median nerve. What is this nerve? Coming from the middle or the posterior cord, you know, the radial nerve. This is the radial nerve. Coming to the this nerve. What is this nerve? This is the axillary nerve. Okay. What is this nerve? This is the musculocutaneous nerve. Okay. So there are the branches and the whole brachial plexus is here. You can get the image from the netter. Okay. Coming to the injuries. The first injury, the Erb's palsy. It is mainly the effect of the upper trunk of the C5 and C6. This is the root of the palsy. And the upper, if the upper trunk is affected, many nerves are affected, but mainly the radial nerve, musculocutaneous nerve and axillary nerve are get affected more. But the radial nerve has root value up to T1. So some part of radial nerve is affected. Mainly the which part is supplied, the brachioradialis muscle is mainly get affected. Coming to the musculocutaneous nerve, they have a root of C7. So when the C5, C6 is affected, C7 gets spared, and the C7 mainly supplied the coracobrachialis muscle, and the coracobrachialis muscle get spared. But the axillary nerve have only C5 and C6 root value, which supplied the deltoid muscle. So this is get completely involved in case of Erb's palsy. And the bicep and brachialis muscle, which supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, only C5 and C6 root value, they get affected. And if deltoid get affected, then the shoulder get adducted. Okay. When the brachioradialis and biceps get affected, then the elbow becomes extended and the effect is supination. So when they get involved, so the pronated forearms is seen. Very easy. This is about the Erb's palsy. Upper tongue get involved, brachialis, bicep, deltoid, brachioradialis get involved, the shoulder gets adducted, elbow get extended and forearm gets pronated. Okay. Coming to the next injury, which is the Klump's palsy. It is mainly the lower tongue when get affected. Many nerve can affect, but mainly median nerve and ulnar nerve get more affected. And the mainly they supply the extrinsic muscles of the hands. So extrinsic muscles of the hands get injured, and hyperextension of the MCP and flexions of the IP joints get occurs, and this is called mainly the claw hand. Okay, hyperextension of the MCP joints and flexion of the IP joints. Okay, now coming to the root value, there is a T1 root value is present in case of Klump's palsy. Because of the T1 is involved, the T1 have a sympathetic outflow to the preganglionic fibers. So there is a ipsilateral Horner syndrome is associated with the Klump's palsy. Okay. Now this is about the brachial plexus. Okay, I think you can understand. Now coming to the discussion of the radial nerve. Okay, now coming to the first the roots of the radial nerve. Firstly, it get what is the root value of the radial nerve? The radial nerve root value is C5 to T1. Firstly, it cross the axilla, then cross the spiral groove, coming in front and in front of the lateral epicondyle, coming in the forearm. Okay. Now coming to the branches. Firstly, in the axilla, they give a branch to the tricep, one is long head and one is middle head. Okay, coming to the in the spiral groove, then again it gave a branch to the tricep. One is the middle head and one is the lateral head. This is the long head and this is the lateral head. Coming to the arm, in case of arm they give two branches, one to the brachioradialis, one is the ECRL, extensor carpi radialis longus. Now after the crossing the lateral epicondyle, there are two branches, one it spears the supinatus muscle and it's from the posterior interosseous nerve which supplies all extensor of the muscles, all extensor muscles, mainly extensor digitorum. Why I say this extensor digitorum you can understand later. Coming to the superficial, there is a superficial branch which mainly give the sensation of the skin on the lateral 3.5 of the dorsum of the hand, but not the nail beds, because nail beds are supplied by the median nerve. So this part is mainly supplied by the radial nerve. Okay, and now again briefly, cross the axilla, give the triceps, in the spiral groove grip the triceps, in the arm brachioradialis and ECRL, in the lateral epicondyle, then cross the lateral epicondyle, two branch, one is between the supinator and one is superficial. The superficial grips the lateral 3.5 of the skin without the nail beds, and the PIN or posterior interosseous nerve give the all extensors and extensor digitorum supply. Okay, now coming to the injuries, there are 4 area where the injury can occur. Firstly, in the axilla part. Okay, if the axilla part is occur, whole the nerve root get affected, and please follow these 4 lines. Firstly, tricep involved, that is why flexed elbow. Wrist extensors, brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus get affected, so wrist drop. Extensor digitorum get affected, so finger drop, and superficial branches also get affected, so there is sensory loss. So in case of Katz's palsy, what we can say? Tricep involved, wrist extensor involved, extensor digitorum involved, and superficial branches get involved. So if the tricep is involved, the elbow get flexed. If the wrist is involved, the wrist drop, wrist extensor, wrist drop, extensor digitorum, finger drop, and superficial branches sensory loss. Okay, coming to the spiral. In case of spiral, already they give a tricep branch, so there is not partially fully involved, partly involved, so there is no flexed elbow, so there is a weakness in case of elbow extension. Okay, and the whole 3 are same, like wrist drop, finger drop, and sensory loss. Coming to the lateral epicondyle broken. So in case of lateral epicondyle fracture, the tricep is pierced, so tricep can good. ECRL is good, so there is no wrist drop, but weakness is there. But finger drop and sensory loss is there. Okay, very easy. It's very easy. In case of Saturday night, it is the Saturday night palsy. Coming to the last and the fourth area of the injury, this is there is the PIN. In case of posterior interosseous nerve injury, which may be occur due to supinator syndrome, surgical, and radial head fracture. In case of radial head fracture, supinator syndrome, and surgical procedure, the PIN get involved, and if PIN is involved, please see tricep is spared, so tricep is good, ECRL is good, so no wrist drop and no sensory loss, because the sensory is given by the superficial branch, and only there is the finger drop because of the extensor digitorum. So this is all about the injuries of the radial nerve injury. Now coming to the next nerve, which is the median nerve. Median nerve have no branch in the arm region. They start give branching after the humerus. Okay, so after the humerus, median nerve pierces the pointer teres muscle to head. Okay, and give deeper branch and superior branch. The deeper branch is called anterior interosseous nerve, and the superior branch give mainly the superior flexor muscles involvement and the FDS, flexor digitorum superficialis, and the FDP and flexor pollicis longus. FDP, the lateral half part of the FDP is get nervation from the median nerve, deeper portion anterior interosseous nerve. It is very easy, and then give the pronator quadratus muscle. After that, the median nerve go below to the flexor retinaculum and give some branches, and one branch of the median nerve going above of the flexor retinaculum and give branches. Okay, coming to these branches. Firstly, I want to say about the which branches go below to the flexor retinaculum. This branch give two division, lateral division and medial division. The lateral division gives innervation to the all thinner muscle except adductor pollicis, because adductor pollicis is given by the ulnar nerve, and the lateral branch or lateral division give innervation to the L1 lumbricals, and the median branch give the L2, and median branch give a digital branch which give lateral 3.5 fingers palmar surface and nail blade sensation. You can notice the yellow color. The yellow color is given by only the digital branch, which came below the flexor retinaculum, and the palmar branch or palmar cutaneous branch which come above the flexor retinaculum give the palmar surface 3.5. This. Okay. Now I want to again in the brief. Median nerve, pronator teres, cross, give two superficial and deep. Deep is called anterior interosseous nerve, give the lateral half of the FDP and flexor pollicis longus, and then the pronator quadratus, and the superficial branch give all superficial flexors and FDS. One branch upper to the flexor retinaculum and give the palmar cutaneous branch and give this palm 3.5, and below the retinaculum they give all thinner muscles L1, L2, digital branch give the digits, but except the adductor pollicis. Okay. Now coming to the injuries, there are two sides of injury, one is the upper and one is the lower. Coming to the upper higher injury, which may occur due to supracondylal fracture or maybe pronator teres syndrome. In this case, the opponent's pollicis is gives locked, so there is a ape thumb deformity. So when there is a ape thumb deformity, clearly you can notice there is a median nerve involvement. It is very clear, and FDS and the lateral FDP is lost, so there is a pointing index finger. Okay. When we call the patient to flex the hand, so they cannot flex the index finger and the half part of the middle finger. Okay, so there is the pointing index finger sign, you can clearly notice in case of higher injuries. Now coming to the flexor retinaculum injury or the carpal tunnel syndrome. In case of lower injury or the carpal tunnel syndrome, firstly there is a AAD. What is AAD? Ape arm deformity. But in case of this, FDS and FDP is not involved, so there is no pointing index. And you can clearly know that the palmar branch is paired because it is upper to the flexor retinaculum. So there is no sensory loss on the lateral 3.5 of the palm, but loss in the fingers, finger sensation. It is very easy. Okay. Now coming to the next nerve, which is the ulnar nerve. Again, there is no branch in the arm. After the crossing below to the medial epicondyle, there are two head of the flexor carpi ulnaris. They give one branch to the medial half of the FDP and go above the flexor retinaculum, go along with the Guyon's canal, which formed by the pisohamate ligament, and then they gives two branch, one is deep branch and one is superficial branch. Superficial branch mainly grieves the palmaris brevis muscle. Okay, and the deep branch along with the deep arch of the hand, they give hypothenar innervation, interosseous innervation, L3 and L4 innervation, and lastly the adductor pollicis. Because the ulnar nerve is complete his course in the adductor pollicis, so this is called the graveyard of the ulnar nerve. Sometime the deep branch of the ulnar nerve also give the deep head of the flexor pollicis brevis muscle. Okay, so in case of sometimes flexor pollicis brevis is also acts as a hybrid muscle. Okay, so that is a deep branch. One is the superficial branch. Superficial give the palmaris brevis, and the all others hypothenar, interosseous, lumbricals, and adductor pollicis is given by the ulnar nerve. Okay, so this is the course of the ulnar nerve. Now coming to the injury of the ulnar nerve. Now coming to the ulnar nerve injury. Mainly there are two sides again. One is case of upper and one is the lower in the Guyon canal or the flexor retinaculum area. Mainly I want to say about the ulnar paradox. In previous two section, you can clearly notice in case of radial nerve injury or median nerve injury, if the injury occurred in the upper area, then it is more involvement of the muscles and there is a more severe. But in case of ulnar, as there is a ulnar paradox, if the upper segment of the ulnar is get affected, there is no less severity. But in case of the lower segment is affected, so there is a more severity. Why in this case? What is this occurs? Because in case of the upper part, when the upper part is involved, you can clearly know the FDP is also get involved, and if FDP is get involved, there is the less severity. Why? Because FDP action is the flexion and all the interossei get affected since they already flexed or the claw hand is seen. If the FDP get involved, then the flexion is get decreased because the FDP is the function is the flexion. But in case of the lower nerve injury, there is a FDP is paired, so FDP already flexed, and as there is a disease, there is a more severity or more precipitation of the injury. This is about the ulnar paradox. Because of this, FDP medial one half part of the medial of the FDP muscle. Okay, so because FDP is involved, no further flexion of the distal IP joints, so there is a less severe ulnar claw hand. And if FDP is paired, then more flexion of the DIP joints and there is a more severity of the ulnar claw hand. So this is about the ulnar paradox. Okay, and when the nerve damage get curity in this direction, so when the curity started, there is a more severity of the disease because of the FDP. Okay, now coming to the last, the image part, where I want to say which is the nerve. Okay, so let's start. What is this nerve? When you get the PDF, please try to solve yourself. This is the median nerve. Okay, now coming to this is the deep branch. What is this nerve? This is the anterior interosseous nerve. Okay, see, there is the upper of the flexor retinaculum. So what is this branch? This is the palmar branch of median nerve. Okay, coming to this nerve. What is this nerve? You can clearly notice below the medial epicondyle. So what is this nerve? This is the ulnar nerve. Okay, now what is this? This is the deep branch. So this is the dorsal branch of the ulnar nerve. And what is this? What is this nerve? This is the mainly palmar branch of the ulnar nerve. Coming to this is the deep and this is the superficial. Okay, so what is this? This is mainly the superficial branch, and what is this? This is the deep branch. Okay, coming to the radial nerve, you can clearly notice this is the radial nerve, and what is this? Coming from the behind, this is the superficial, because they supply, you can clearly notice they supply the superficial branch. So this is the superficial branch of radial nerve, and what is this? This is the mainly posterior interosseous nerve. Okay, so this is all about the upper limb important nerve innervation and brachial plexus. Please give in the comment which section you want, and please give your valuable feedback, because your feedback give me the perfection. Thank you so much.